I'm Tamara Holder, and this is Sports Court. Last week, Junior Galette was the New Orleans Saints' $41 million man. But today, he's unemployed and really angry. After the linebacker was cut just 10 months after signing a new deal with $16 million guaranteed, he went to Twitter, of course, hiding behind his girlfriend's account, to air some very dirty laundry about his team. So does this behavior affect his chances of getting picked up by another team? Joining me from DC is media expert Howard Kurtz, host of Media Buzz on Fox News Channel. Welcome. Sorry I screwed up your last name. I know it.
That's okay.
So, Howie, I want to talk to you about these tweets because they're really aggressive. I want to throw up the one that alleges that head coach Sean Payton is hashtag a Percocet user, and another one that says that Payton showed up to meetings drunk. Does this matter to the other teams, or do they just want to see a guy that puts up numbers?
Depends on how badly they need a linebacker. Look, this Twitter rant, it gives a whole new meaning to the phrase for Junior Galette to be just trashing his teammates and saying, you know, one guy's wife is cheating on him and another couple of players might be gay. I mean, this is a team that still has to pay him millions of dollars, and he seems really angry.
Well, right, and the thing is, in the NFL, players don't just stay with the team. They actually transfer from year to year. So these guys are going to have to possibly play with him if he gets picked up in another year. Doesn't that create, don't you think, some kind of tension amongst team members?
Yeah, you might say that. I mean, it seems to me that a lot of NFL teams, some might say the league itself, don't care that much about off-the-field violence. We certainly saw that in the Ray Rice case and others. But here you have a guy who that video surfaced where he's using his belt to whip people during a spring break brawl.
Right.
And if that doesn't even get the teams to stay away from this athlete.
And you bring up my next question, because this was a video from, I think, about 2012 that just surfaced this year of him whipping people with a belt at a party. Then he was also arrested for battery earlier this year. But you're the media expert. Do you think there's really an issue with the NFL caring about bad behavior or just bad press?
That's exactly it. After having lived through the whole Ray Rice fiasco, and then all these other cases where athletes who had gotten a slap on the wrist, if that, for being involved in domestic violence cases and that sort of thing, I've yet to be convinced the National Football League really cares about domestic violence. What the league cares about is getting a torrent of negative headlines for failing to act on domestic violence. But this video didn't convince the NFL to banish him. Maybe the fact that he trash talks his teammates on Twitter will at least make some teams wary of wanting to hire this guy, pay him millions of dollars, and then if things don't work out, or maybe even if things do, he maybe have a couple pops and starts going after his teammates on social media.
Well, it seems that he's now trying to, I don't know, switch the script, because he just sent a video of himself to the press working out solo in the gym while everybody else is at training camp. So do you think the teams are going to overlook those tweets because they're really bad and say, okay, this is a guy that was just angry?
Yeah, well, I guess that would be the key thing, would be contrition. I mean, look, Michael Vick got back into the NFL after that dogfighting conviction. So, if a team can say to its fans, look, this guy made mistakes, but his heart's in the right place, he's a good player, he's a good boy, he's not going to do it again, then maybe you can try to sell it, particularly if you have a hole at that position. On the other hand, if he is just seen as an angry guy who has no loyalty whatever to coaches and teammates and doesn't have any sense of regret over what he did, that's a much tougher sell.
Right, but accusing the head coach, Sean Payton, of having side action and being a Molly addict, those are pretty serious, and they stay out there forever against Sean Payton. What do you think the NFL's response should be? This is media we're talking about, social media.
I mean, I think the league, right now, I guess technically Junior Galette is unemployed, but I think the league ought to take some action against him.
What are they going to do? Can the NFL properly suspend somebody? We talk about domestic violence and all of those things that are obvious, but do you think the NFL can set a precedent and say, we're going to suspend a guy because he tweeted bad things about a head coach or bad things about a former player?
Well, imagine if it was an employee of IBM or Facebook or General Motors. I mean, you'd be gone for that kind of thing because, you know, every company has some sort of ethics code that says you got to conduct yourself in a way that doesn't reflect badly on the organization. I don't think the NFL should be...
Is this a moral conduct code issue? Because the NFL also has a moral conduct code, but is tweeting a moral conduct issue? Are we now going to go down that road?
Well, I mean, if Roger Goodell had any backbone, maybe we would. Now, I want to be clear. I mean, just because you unload on Twitter or use some bad words or say things that are politically incorrect, I don't think the league should have anything to say about that. But when you're making accusations, some of which may not be accurate, who knows, against people who are other members of the NFL, I think that it would be interesting to see if the NFL would bring this as a test case.
All right. Well, I don't know. I think they'll just pick it up.
You're saying don't hold my breath.
Yeah, exactly. He'll have a job in no time. But thank you so much. Don't say anything unkind about me on Twitter because you won't have a job after this.
I promise.
All right. Thank you for joining. Sports Court is adjourned.
Thanks.